do that to Mr. Jenkins? Whoa. Welcome to a special online episode of Something About Zombies.
Oh my gosh.
And what we are talking about tonight is the season finale
Of The Walking
Dead. An actual 90-minute episode, added a little extra 30 minutes for us hardcore fans. Buddy was really scared. He had nightmares all night.
Buddy was there to cuddle you, so I didn't have that.
Yeah, he didn't have Buddy there with him. So there will be some spoilers in this SAZ online episode, so we want to go ahead and tell you, if you haven't seen the season finale, turn it off. Now, Morgan gets to the camp, sees Rick killing folks.
Oh
boom!
My God.
I just wanted to try and throw out some spoilers there. But yeah, isn't that incredible? Finally, Morgan is reunited with his first friend, Rick.
Morgan, losing his mind, willing to take any life to protect his own.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw, he had those booby traps up. He was like, anybody who enters will get killed. He had lost his son, so he had nothing to lose. He didn't care about anybody. He was going to kill you if you showed up. That's right, buddy. I like that. But obviously,
at the beginning
we
of this
saw
episode,
such a transformation. I mean, a rebirth.
Life is precious.
Life is precious.
We're all struggling to survive.
He had that lucky rabbit's foot. You gotta hold on to that. That's precious.
That's precious.
Morgan is British. What is with that?
Morgan.
Did anybody expect
Rick,
to see that guy with a British accent on Talking Dead?
That was pretty incredible.
It was a
I
little
did
weird.
not see that coming.
I did not see that coming. I mean, I think half of the actors on the show, although they have the southern drawl of being from Georgia, actually talk like this, and like to
would you like a
drink
cup
the
of tea?
Carry out to the garden to torch a fag. I hate the fact that I gotta wait until October just to see what happens now.
And who knows if we're even going to see if that actually plays out, because who knows if they're going to do one of those classic Walking Dead things.
Well, we do know
or it's going to be somebody
Talking Dead that he is going to be in at least one episode.
At least one, but it may not be the first one, because classic Walking Dead, they could cut back to something else, a different little side story for the first episode, and then at the very end of said episode, introduce what happened at the season finale.
Thanks, Robert Kirkman. I mean, thanks, Obama. But it's kind of scary because it makes it look like Rick, he's turning into the governor, basically.
There's a little bit,
or like
but
he's like, if you got something I want, I'm going to take it.
I feel like this season is kind of making the governor a little bit more human to us now.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that reality, if you are that strong-minded person, you have to be that way.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. I don't think Rick would keep Carl alive as a zombie.
No, probably not.
No.
I mean, obviously, he didn't just keep her there. He had a whole aquarium heads just saying hi to him. They were like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. So how about when Rick finally shows up to the meeting, after they've been debating why he's not there, and he's just been fighting those zombies, and he just comes walking up with one over his shoulder and just tosses it down.
Flops it down. Salisbury steak on the table. Boom. Eat it, folks.
Did I bring this in here? No.
So, not only is The Walking Dead awesome and hugely famous, the #1 show on TV, what has brought along with it is the Talking Dead that happens after every episode. I do believe there was a show talking about zombies before that. What's the name of said show?
Is it something?
It's something.
About. It's in something about zombies.
What is the show about? Walking Dead's about zombies. It's something about zombies, people. Hey, Chris Hardwick. I was talking about zombies way before you ever got your little chance. So sometimes I actually still catch some of your show Talking Dead. The remote is too far away for me to change the channel.
Too
But
drunk.
how has that become a thing? Why is it when I want to watch Walking Dead on demand, the first thing that pops up is the Talking Dead? Or you shouldn't put your show in the same little category that the actual Walking Dead is under.
So here we are calling you out.
Yeah.
Zombie Throwdown.
So, although Chris Hardwick likes to choke on a crusty zombie on a daily basis, we are going to take one of those aspects of Talking Dead and apply it to our show. The In Memoriam little segment that they do.
Yeah.
But not just from one episode. We are going to be looking back at the greatest and saddest kills of The Walking Dead. Like those either great, awesome kills.
Like just torn apart, or just, that heart-wrenching moment where your favorite character...
Or, yeah, either they're torn apart or you're torn apart inside when you're... We came up with our own each top 5 best kills of The Walking Dead. Starting with my number 5 death of Walking Dead, which I think was a little overhyped, particularly because, like, with Twitter and Facebook. Thanks, Chris Hardwick. Thanks, Obama. But it would be Beth. Everybody loves Beth. She was wicked hot. She showed a lot of character development through the show. But it was sad to see her go. But I think it was a little overhyped. So I mean, it was a big main character. But as far as my number 5, I would say Beth death.
Number 5 for me has to be Carol's husband. Like back in season 1, when their little first camp by the little lake. It's
not because it was a sad loss.
Not that it was a sad loss. It was very fulfilling, like seeing somebody that big of a douchebag just getting mutilated. Somebody so worthy of a death, just getting
torn apart, like guts pouring out everywhere. I mean,
that's fulfillment right there. That's what every good viewer wants to see. Like that villain getting what comes to them.
So yeah, my number 4, as far as more of the awesome death, would be the prisoner that was in the prison. I think he was like a kind of a Mexican dude with long hair. He was the guy that was always on Rick's back trying to tell him what's what. And then in that one scene where they were trying to clear out part of the prison and the dude opens the door and throws a zombie in Rick's face.
Yep.
And Rick was just like, no, I'm not having this. And that was like one of those first times where we saw Rick didn't hesitate. He said, oh, I got a chance to kill you. Boom! I brought the machete down on his head. Another nice little reference to Tom Savini's makeup work in Dawn of the Dead. But, yeah, that was my number 4 awesome kill point. What about yours?
My number 4, once again, has to be just like an awesome kill. It wasn't like a heartbreaking one for me. It was just the revenge of killing the governor. Just after he just cut off Herschel's head, and just that huge fight between him and Rick. And then when Michonne grabs her sword, it just... think!
Boo!
Done. That tyrant, that awful human being, done. No more.
So glad.
It was just all that tension in myself for the past season and a half. Relief.
So my number 3, just sad death moment, really would actually be with Merle Dixon, Daryl's brother. Because, obviously we saw him in that first, episode 2, and then never really came across him until we found out that he was like governor's friend. But even when Merle was with Rick's group, there was still that idea that maybe he was still shady, had his own...
Yeah, you didn't know if you could trust him or not.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like Merle was going to take her to the governor. Well, nicely, he decided not to. Or, halfway in there, which, showed that he really changed. And he was like, you know what? I'm just going to kill the governor on my own. and in the process got killed by the governor.
I has to go back to what I was saying before, with the governor being my number 4 death. So number 3 has to be Herschel. It's not so awesome of death, like genuinely really sad about that death. Because Herschel was like that grandfather that I've always wanted. He was just that wise old man who helped out everybody. And then when the governor told Rick that it couldn't work out the way Rick wanted and cut off his head,
Yeah.
my heart broke. My heart broke. I want to eat you.
And From the Walking Dead is literally it. I'm no longer there.
So as far as number 2 goes, we both agreed on the same character's death being extremely sad. Otis. Back in season 2, he was the one that actually had shot Carl, but he was just trying to shoot a deer.
He wanted to get the deer.
He just wanted some food. And he felt responsible for that, so he actually took it upon himself in a hero-like way to go get the necessary medical equipment.
And then Shane, being the asshole that he is, sacrifices poor sweet Otis because he is just fat.
Really close to it. Number 1 sad death for me was most recently seeing Tyrese go. Just the most awesome character, being that gentle giant Malick, like a Terrence Malick directing style episode, just beautifully done, So, but let's get on to our number 1 sad or awesome deaths of Walking Dead.
What's your number 1, Matt?
Boom! It's a top of sad and awesome. Sadly, obviously Herschel, as he was going, which was his number 2. I don't see why. It was definitely my number 1 sad death. He was a doctor and he had lost a leg, but he was still kicking.
Still teaching everybody.
It was just the worst thing possible. And not to mention Scott Wilson, the actor who plays Herschel, is such an awesome guy, which you obviously saw on Something About Zombies. But number 1 awesome death is when Rick, Michonne, and other prison dude are going from the prison over to Woodbury to save Glenn and Maggie. They stumble upon this cabin in the woods, who is apparently still occupied by this crazy redneck, or like this guy in the woods that doesn't really know what's going on. And he like threatens them with a gun, and they're like, he starts to shoot, and then Michonne just kills the dude. And not only do they just happen to like kill this random guy who's trying to protect his cabin, but they got a bunch of zombies coming on this front door. What do? They just open the door and they're like,
feed it.
Oh, we're gonna feed you
zombies.
guys this dead dude that we just killed, so that we can sneak out the back. Awesome death in The Walking Dead.
My favorite, it's got to be Shane. Rick and him were best friends. All that shit happened with Shane and his wife, and her getting pregnant with Judith, and you don't know if it's Shane's or Rick's, and then Shane comes back as a zombie, and Rick just has to end him. He just has to, and Carl sees, and he doesn't understand, and it's this big turmoil.
What's so great about that too, though, that death scene is if you read the comics, Shane actually dies before they ever leave Atlanta.
I think I remember that.
You remember who actually kills him?
I do not. Oh, Carl does.
Carl kills Shane.
Carl kills Shane.
I just love that. Even in the comics, he says, "Don't kill my daddy!" And Carl blasts Shane away.
That is true. I totally forgot
That's why,
about that.
even though they kept his character alive for a while in that season 2, I like the fact that they still associated Carl with Shane's death. So that's our online Walking Dead episode.
Hope you enjoyed.
Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you follow Something About Zombies on Twitter at SAZ_TV, or like us on Facebook just under Something About Zombies. You can see our YouTube page too, Something About Zombie. And just catch Something About Zombies here in Nashville on Channel 9 Friday nights at midnight. as well as like Monday and Thursdays, I think, on Channel 9 also.
And throwing this in there, but also make sure something about zombies is also a little bit better when you're enjoying like a Yazoo Hef or a Yazoo Gerst.
Or even Yazoo Dos Perros, Yazoo Paleo.
Any of the above. I mean, makes me look more attractive.
Very true. We do want to give a big thank you to Yazoo Brewery. So yeah, thank you guys for watching our special edition Walking Dead online episode.
We hope you've learned something. We gave you something to think about. Because I know what I'm thinking about doing with this guy after we get done.
Wait,
we're
camera's
still
still on.
on.
Camera's still rolling.
Still on.
Let's turn this camera off immediately so we can get to business. Where's Buddy Marvin?
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.
Hi, I'm Scott Wilson from The Walking Dead, and you're watching Something About Zombies. And From The Walking Dead is literally it. I'm no longer there.
So